The third chapter is global, private and public enterprises. In this chapter, we would study private sector as well as public sectors. In the previous chapter, we have studied about the private sector like sole proprietorship, joint Hindu family business, partnership, cooperative society, joint stock company. But in this chapter, we will study only the public sector enterprises, that is departmental undertaking, statutory corporation as well as government company. First of all, we would like to recall you the private sector. Private sector includes all those enterprises which are managed, owned, controlled by individuals or group of individuals. Second is public sector. Public sector includes all those enterprises which are managed and owned partly or wholly by the central or state government. Now, next topic is forms of public sector enterprises. Means how many types of public sector enterprises are. It is of three types. First is departmental undertaking, second public corporation or statutory corporation, and third is government company. First, we will discuss in details about the departmental undertaking. This departmental undertaking of the public sector enterprises are the oldest and traditional form of public enterprises. This is managed by government officials as one of the government departments. It works under the control of concerning ministers of the department, who is answerable, accountable to government through parliament. For example, railway minister is ultimately responsible for all the activities of the railways. Features of departmental undertakings. First feature is that finance. It is financed by the government through allocation of funds in the annual general budget of parliament. Government treasury provides finances and revenue earned by the departmental undertaking is deposited into the treasury. Second is accounting system. This organization is also subject to accounting and audit controls as applicable to other government activities. Management. It is managed and controlled by the government department and supposed works under the direct control of the ministry. Appointment of employees. Its employees are appointed. Their separate terms and conditions are for their appointment, remuneration, promotion, and these all are determined by the government. They are headed by Indian Administrative Service (IAS) officers and civil servants who are transferable from one ministry to another. Merits of departmental undertaking or advantages of departmental undertaking. First is complete government control. It is completely owned, managed and controlled by a government ministry. Second is accountable to Parliament. All the departmental undertakings are accountable to Parliament for their performance. Source of income, the revenue or income earned by the departmental undertaking is a source of income for the government and it is directly deposited to the treasury. Suitable for national security, this enterprise is most suitable when national security is concerned because it works under the direct control and supervision of the concerned ministry. Limitations or disadvantages of departmental undertaking. First is lack of flexibility. There is a very little scope for exercising initiative. Means these staffs don't take any initiative, don't take interest in their work. Due to lack of autonomy, it fails to provide flexibility in operations. Delay in decision making. The employees or heads of the departments have to take approval before taking any decisions by the concerned ministry. This leads to delays in matters where fast decisions are required. Next is red tapeism. Even for routine works and day-to-day functioning, prior sanction of the authority is necessary. The enterprise is bound by the bureaucratic procedures and rules. Next is undue government interference. There is a lot of political interference through the ministry.